Carter, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Carol, for having me. It's lovely to be with you here today at London City Airport.
Can you talk us through some of the designs and innovations that you see coming into the market over the next sort of 10 years?
Well, actually, there's some exciting products that are going to be on the market very shortly. The cooperation between Lufthansa and Recaro has already produced Lufthansa's new Europa class, which is going to be a complete revamp of their short and medium haul fleet. What's positive about this from a passenger point of view is that you're going to have more personal space for your carry-on luggage. There's going to be a unification of how the 737 fleets and the A320 fleets work together. You're going to be able to put your luggage, store your luggage similarly in both aircraft, whereas today on the 737 you might have had to put your carry-on baggage sideways in the overhead bin. And because of the design of the seat, which is so innovative, you can actually take that luggage and put it underneath the seat in front of you very, very comfortably. They're also revamping their in-flight service product, looking at new menus, and really talking about a change of the whole customer experience along with that change in interior, which is actually really exciting. In addition, we still have the 787 Dreamliner that is yet to come onto the market, but there are many, many exciting new features in that aircraft, such as the humidity control, which allows for nearly a ground level experience for a passenger. So a passenger is not going to feel as fatigued. And we have a number of other interesting mood lighting, which is another large and interesting product that people have done psychological studies on that help people adjust to the new time zones and help with the overall jet lag feeling. So I think that product will be interesting when we finally see that come to market. I think IFE is probably one of the most exciting parts of aircraft interiors at the moment. Obviously, with oil being at record prices, the real focus for airlines is to get as much weight off of the aircraft as humanly possible. And some of these IFE systems have a fairly large weight footprint. And so it's only beneficial if they can possibly lessen that footprint and save on fuel. However, what's more interesting to me is the trend that passengers are wanting to watch their content that they've preloaded on their devices, such as an iPod. We now have iPads, the Blackberries, the Androids, all of these sorts of personal devices. They're already preloaded with the music, movies, and television shows that people want to watch. So I think if you take a look at what's already happening in the market today, you have airlines such as the Icelandic budget airline Iceland Express offering iPads for rental in flight. You have some changes that are even coming up for a legacy carrier. Iberia, in its new comfort class, is going to be offering a Sony PSP that's preloaded with entertainment. We also have another product that's very interesting where you have Jet2, who traditionally have never had any in-flight entertainment, are going to be offering, again, for sale on board, something that you can slip into the seat back in front of you or onto the tray tables. So again, it's not going to have the large weight footprint, but actually it's going to be on demand and is also an extra revenue stream and gives passengers who might not have a device with them or maybe don't own one, still the opportunity to be entertained on a longer flight. I think we also have some interesting things happening with carriers like Fly Dubai, the low-cost carrier in the Middle East. They have put in a new on-fabric system, which is really innovative, because this can be installed without the seat actually being designed for a recess for an IFE. This can actually be applied to the fabric, and that cuts not only the installation time down, but it's really kind of an innovative and interesting new product, and I'm anxious to see how that works for them.
Now let's talk about the premium economy or economy plus phenomenon. Is it here to stay, and what benefits does it give the cabin interior for both passengers and airlines?
I think that European carriers, Australasian carriers, and Asian carriers have led the way in the premium economy or the economy plus product. Throughout the years, we've seen some very innovative things coming out of, say, Air New Zealand, where they've had their new premium economy product, but they also have their Sky Couch product, which allows an opportunity for a couple to purchase 3 seats together and kind of convert that into a very, very premium product. But yet, it's not a premium economy product in and of itself, so they're actually offering multiple layers. So this obviously is a very positive development for the passengers because they can buy what they want and at the price they want. But in addition, it's an additional revenue opportunity for those 3 seats that might have otherwise gone unsold. I think if you're talking about Europe, you still have many, many individual carriers who are offering fabulous products that are transatlantic. British Airways has a wonderful premium economy product. Virgin also has a very competitive product as well. And it's not just the in-flight seating, but it's also the services that happen prior to boarding that are also very positive. I think in the United States market, the product itself really has yet to evolve fully. I think there's opportunities. Having traveled 22 segments transatlantically myself this year in several different classes, I can tell you I've been a little bit disappointed by the range of products that are on offer. Frequently, they offer you more leg room, which you might have formerly already been able to have gotten if you got, say, bulkhead seating. But now, really, the only differences that you can see are you might have a little bit of extra leg room, but you're not in a discretely separate cabin. The seating is not particularly different, and the in-flight product is not different. You're still paying for drinks as though you were in an economy class, and the service hasn't really changed. So I think that there's some opportunity, but I also think that's a cultural issue, and perhaps maybe they don't need to evolve. I think it's all about what the passenger demands. At least from the European perspective and from the Asian perspective, I do think that they would demand a lot more from a premium economy product than what can currently be offered from a North American carrier.
Now, let's look at the more distant future. Are there any radical concepts or design ideas that you're hearing being discussed in the industry at the moment?
Yes, I think there are a number of things that could happen in the next 10 to 25 years in our future. I think a lot of those things are actually predicated on the price of oil, actually. I think if you take a look at our recent history, we're seeing some all-time highs in Jet A fuel costs. And I think those will probably continue to rise in the short term. And the long term, we may be looking at a resource that becomes rarer and rarer if you listen to some of the experts. So there are some things that I think could happen. I think in particular, as far as interiors are concerned, this concept of sit-stand that I think that we've heard mentioned and probably made famous a little bit by Ryanair recently is actually not a new concept at all. These concepts have been around at the Hamburg show for several years, actually going back all the way to 2004. So I think that these concepts could be explored a little bit. I think the major concern about these sit-stand concepts, where you can put in these high density of seats in an aircraft where people are partially standing and maybe even sitting on a saddle-like seat, is A, for how long is that really comfortable? And B, is it really safe to have that many people in an enclosed space that's really only licensed for X number of people based on an aircraft type? So I think what we'll start to see for the first time is interiors really driving aircraft design in the future. What we might be seeing is people saying, yes, we need this sit-stand type of aircraft, and so thus we need you to be able to design it with more emergency exits, to provide better oxygenation for the cabin, and possibly even look at restraint devices that are new and innovative. We already have on the market today a seat belt which offers an airbag solution for a hard shell business class seat, and so that allows them to put it in higher density. So I think that there are solutions to this. I also think in a little bit of the nearer future, that we may see some countries' regulatory bodies take less of a dim view than others and allow some carriers to possibly experiment with this with existing aircraft types. I think that some of those might come out of the Asia-Pacific region. And I think that experimentation might lead the way somewhat to what the future could bring. I also see that as, again, oil prices continue to rise, and as I think that commodity will become much rarer, that there is possibility that the averages that we use today to calculate weight and balance in an aircraft, you are measured in the same manner in which I am, which clearly there's a disparity in our weight of several stone, and therefore it's a little bit different. But we use an average in the industry. I think that average needs to go up because people are getting a little bit bigger, they're getting taller. And so this is a trend that I think we need to address. But in addition, I think in the extreme future, what we might see is oil prices topping up. That those of us who are passengers might be paying by literally our own kilo weight. And the ticket price could be tied to our kilos, and that could be something quite scary for someone my size, potentially, on a transatlantic flight. But I think that might be in the not-too-distant future, say 25 years, again, as we find that resource becoming rarer and rarer. I also think there's going to be some interesting changes that could potentially come out of hybrid IFE, or audiovisual on demand, or AVOD as it's referred to. I think we could start to see some hybrid items coming out of that. Perhaps an airline could offer a local area network on an aircraft where people can use the devices that they've brought on board with their own content, but yet also interface with the aircraft, maybe get the latest run movies, and also give the airline an opportunity to communicate Maybe that's through advertising, duty-free sales, or maybe you could even do as we do today, offer on your iPad a service where you can order a drink from your seat. And that drink can be delivered directly to you. So I think that there's also a lot of new and interesting hybrid opportunities that'll probably in in-flight entertainment that'll probably be sooner than later. As far as in-flight connectivity goes, I think we've always had a difficulty at finding the right price point for the passenger, the airline, and the provider. And so I think that as those three continue to work together to refine that, in the shorter term, in the future, I do think that actually in-flight wireless connectivity will be something that we can look forward to at a price that most people will probably be willing to pay.